The cold, damp interior of Fort Farragut was isolated from the outside world by thick stone and time. Here, in the farthest halls, there were no drafts, but the air was still heavy, saturated with the smell of smoldering candles, mold, and magic, the kind that eats into the walls and remains even after the spellcaster's death. The stone vaults bore barely noticeable traces of ancient rituals. Like burns that no one had bothered to hide. The man in black entered unhurriedly, carrying the body of a young man on his shoulder. The weight felt heavier than expected. The dead don't help carry themselves. The body was still fresh. A faint, slightly sweet smell indicated the beginning of decomposition, but only in its initial stages. Perfect condition. A rare gift. It was an experiment. A conscious, deliberate, and very unpleasant one. Before this, Lucien had only worked with skeletons. They were easier and, perhaps, less disturbing. No illusions of life, no wheezing, no stench. Minimal control requirements. Broken bones were easy to repair or replace, and one could quickly get used to their constant creaking. The body was laid on the ritual table. It had become one relatively recently, however. Lucien straightened up, stretched a little, and then allowed himself a few seconds of stillness. The killer's gaze assessed the material, the color of the skin, the remaining wounds and injuries, the appearance and condition of the clothing. The signs of a violent death were evident. Another bandit or thief. Now it no longer mattered to either the corpse or the necromancer. The ritual required blood and concentration. The dagger slid out of its sheath with its familiar, almost soothing ring, cutting through the silence. An oblong cut on his own forearm. Over the years, the pain had become almost imperceptible. Blood flowed into a wooden bowl in a steady stream. It was almost mesmerizing. His breathing evened out. His heart slowed down. His mind struggled to focus, cutting off everything unnecessary. Necromancy required endurance, almost monastic patience. In this, it was similar to the school of restoration. And it also demanded precision. The dead, like the living, do not forgive carelessness. Hastily bandaging the cut, Lucien began to draw symbols around the corpse with chalk. Several familiar runes and a few new ones. A worn book, not available in ordinary shops, was open to the right page. More a precaution than a necessity. Black leather gloves stretched over the killer's strong fingers. A long breath in. A breath out. His hands hovered over the chest of the stranger's body. A greenish-blue, unnatural glow blinded him in contrast to the darkness. Energy flowed downward, accumulating. The flow intensified, demanding more and more strength. Lucien felt the tension growing, the magic pulling deeper than planned. It was becoming uncontrollable. Something had gone wrong. Beads of sweat formed on his forehead. His control was slipping. The dead man's fingers twitched. Not a movement, but a spasm. A reflex, not a response. This was how flesh reacted to charges of electrical magic. He waited a little longer, squeezing out his last reserves, but the result did not change. It was dangerous to continue. The ritual was interrupted. The body remained motionless. Covering it with an old tapestry, the speaker hid the result of his failure from view. He stared at the spot for a few more seconds. Disappointment. Anger. Exhaustion. He needed to work on his mistakes and rest. The candles were extinguished, returning the dungeon to its usual darkness and silence. He would try again. Tomorrow.